Okay, we are recording. Can you ladies see the little record button in the top right-hand corner? Okay, perfect. All right, so welcome. Today we're going to dive into tech. So we're going to go right into social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's going to apply across the board. So a few people in our introductions have talked about branding and finding your voice. That isn't going to be the focus of today's training. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I will probably need to do our next session about finding your voice and developing your brand so that it can now connect together. So if you are watching this after, let me know if you have any questions, if you need more help on any topics, and then I can plan those trainings for the next following weeks to come. Okay, so if you're watching, make sure you have your phone so that you can follow along. This is going to be really interactive. So feel free to download and play as you go. So, oh, are we moving? There you go. Okay, introduction. So honestly, it's really okay to be bad at social media. You're gonna get better. The more you practice, the better you're gonna get. Make sure to just spend some time. Even reels, I literally just sat down for an hour and I said, I'm gonna figure this out. Play around, have fun with it, but you're gonna have to give yourself some time to actually play around with it in order for you to get good. Also know that they keep changing social media. So for you to be good at it all the time, I mean, you're going to have to continue to stay up on it. One of the best ways to actually stay up on social media is just to ask people. When I see someone do something really cool, I just did this the other day to someone who's even right in here right now, and I'll ask, what app did you use? How did you create that? I really like what you did. You're always going to find out new cool apps that you can use that is going to make social media easier. So in order to make social media easier, I also recommend, I'm going to show you a bunch of apps. You can download them, choose your favorite. I don't want you to feel like you have to use 4 apps for editing, because then you're never going to use any of them. You're never going to be comfortable with any of them. And then it's going to be really confusing and overwhelming. So download them, see which one you like better, go with one and go from there. I am very simple. I only use like 2 apps, and I like to make it really simple for my social media, but it's always evolving and growing. Another thing to also consider is nobody really knows what's going on with algorithms. Even people who have hundreds of thousands of followers, we're always trying to figure out what will get us most reach. How can we get the most amount of followers? So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about how I've gotten followers. Other people can comment as well who are watching live, but just know they're always changing. The reason this is so important is I don't want you, even though this is a training just on technology for social media, I don't want you to only focus on social. It is so important for you to be able to convert your social media into emails so that you can actually control what your audience and what your followers are seeing. You can do this in a bunch of different ways: webinars, downloads, events, any way that you can capture emails. You want to be doing this on the weekly to make sure that you're converting your actual followers and community to a monetizable thing. Email addresses aren't going to go out of style. And even that, phone numbers are also becoming more popular. So there's a texting community called Community, and they are great at now building text communities the same as emails are. If you want to learn, I don't have a slide about this, so I'm going to throw this in right now. If you want to learn more about texting communities, I recommend joining a couple. One of my favorite texting communities that I'm a part of is actually Gary Vaynerchuk. I actually like him a lot more after joining his text community, because he has a very direct, kind of aggressive approach to business, but he does really well with his texting community, sending tons of love, and it's a really great way to continue to nurture your community. So something to consider with regards to technology. You can send video and pictures through your text community as well. Okay, moving on. I want you to get really clear on what your purpose is in building your social media. Number one, first and foremost, we obviously want to provide value. It's also really important to drive your followers somewhere so they don't get confused, giving them a really clear call to action. You'll see here, I also mentioned collecting emails, selling a product, a course, building relationship, also shareable content. You want to make sure that within your social media, you're creating content that other people want to share. It's important to note that each format of social media will get a different response and engagement. For example, pictures of yourself get a lot of likes and comments. Quotes or carousel photos, the ones that are the swipe ones, they get a lot of saves or shares, right? Your reels and videos get a lot of views. And you can start to kind of track within your insights what people like most within your community and kind of switch it up. So let me know if people don't know how to do this. I need you to give me some feedback and ask questions as we go along. But that makes a point here, which I want to add, is making sure that you're paying attention to your insights. So if you go into Instagram, does everybody know how to figure out their insights? Yes? You can give me like a wave if you know how to figure out your insights. Anyone not know how to figure out their insights? No, Philippa? Okay, so what you're gonna do is when you go into Instagram, you can figure out your insights per picture and for your actual account. So what you wanna do within each photo, let me pull it up. I wanna make sure as I go along. Okay. So in your actual photos, if you go to your actual, I'm in my Instagram right now. If you go to your feed, you click on a photo. This does not apply to Reels. You can't check your insights on Reels yet. You can actually see a blue account and it says view insights. It'll be important to also distinguish if you have a business Instagram account or a personal Instagram account. They have different functionality. I have a business Instagram account, which will give me certain functions that the personal one will not, including some of the insights. So your insights are better with a business Instagram account than a personal. So you can see within that insights how many likes, comments, shares, and saves each of your things get. You can then do that generally as well, straight on your profile. You can go to insights. There's a button right on your profile, and then you'll be able to see what posts and videos are getting the most amount of insight. So you want to look at likes, comments, shares, and saves. And then you can plan your calendar accordingly. Make sense? Do you see that, Philippa? No? Then do you have a personal account right now? Okay, so we'll flip you over to business. You just have to change it and link it to, I believe you have to link it to a Facebook. I haven't done it lately. Right, yes, you have to link it to a Facebook in order to get your business account. So do that to make sure you have all those insights so you can plan accordingly. Okay, cool. So this is really important. Take a picture of this. So your impact formula for all of social is you're going to follow these 4 steps. These 4 steps are in every story, every video, every post, every caption, and you're going to go through this. Number 1, you're going to tell them what you're going to tell them, just like an email title. So are you struggling to lose weight? Are you struggling with anxiety? Whatever it is that you're going to tell them. The second thing you're going to tell them in this impact formula is why it matters to them. What that means is you want to know their pain point, their struggle, their goal. So let me give you an example. If my title is, are you struggling with anxiety? Or 5 tips to overcoming anxiety. Number 2 of why it matters to them is I see you. I know you're sitting at home, crying yourself to sleep. You're lonely. You're not motivated. What are the symptoms they're actually feeling that will make this post applicable to them? Within this second part, you want them to read the second part and say, yep, Vanessa gets me. Yep, I need to keep reading. This is for me. So it's almost like a qualifying question or qualifying symptoms that will qualify them. Can I say qualify anymore? Qualify them to keep reading so they know the tip will be valuable for them. Then the third step is actually providing value. Give them a tip, secrets, steps, whatever it is that they can implement now. This is where the true value comes in. You want people to start to look to you as a person of authority, as an expert. And this is how you do that, by actually providing value and things that they can do right now. So often people think that they can just ask for money and are really scared to give information because they don't want to give too much and they still want people to give them money. They will. If you give lots of value and still give a great call to action, which brings us to our fourth point, they will still convert to actual paying customers through these leads. So this is your 4 steps. I talk about this all the time in everything that I do. Also know, and some of you, we have talked about this takes time. This is a new language you're starting to learn. So even when I do my posts, I sometimes go back and I think, oh, did I qualify them enough? Number 2, did I make it really clear as to who this tip can help? And same within video. This structure makes it really easy for people to listen to you. You know, when you go and you're listening to someone and they're going on and on for 5 minutes and you have no idea what they're talking about, if you do a really concise video, and I'm going to give you the lengths of time for your video, you're really easy to listen to. If you say, hey, you know, I want to give you my top 5 tips to dealing with anxiety because I have been there. I have been anxious. I have cried myself to sleep for months. And I know you can add a little story if you want because you have more time in a video. And you say, I want to help you. I know you're out there. Here's what I did to help myself. And then you give them their 3 steps and then you give them a call to action. Comment below, tag someone, whatever that is. And we'll talk a little bit more about different call to action steps a little bit later in the training. Any questions about this? If so, feel free to use the chat box if you're on live. Okay, planning. I'm moving through this really quick because I want to make sure that we finish on time and still leave time for questions. But planning, you can plan ahead of time or do it on the daily. Here are some things to plan to make it really easy for you. Number 1 is I want you to create a pain points and challenges list and a desires and goals list. What does this mean? I need you to know, who is my target demographic? What are their current challenges, pain points? What is keeping them up at night? And what are their goals, desires, and dreams? The reason you need to know this is because all of your content is going to be circling around a pain point or desire. So all of your tips, when you're providing value, you're trying to solve a pain point or get them closer to a desire. This makes you really easy to listen to follow, and for people to actually see a difference when actually following you. Does that make sense? So I literally have just lists of pain points and desires. And if I don't know what to write, or when planning my monthly schedule, I go, okay, I'm going to talk about anxiety, scheduling, procrastination, whatever. And you just talk to a pain point. One tip with regards to the pain point and desire, I need you to get really specific. Don't feel like you have to give too much information at once. And I want you to ask yourself, so what? You know, so pain point is, I'm having a hard time finding a job. It's COVID. Okay, so what? The pain point is actually, I don't have money to feed my family. I am feeling like, you know, our bank accounts are running out and I don't know when I'm going to have a job. I don't know when I can do this. Or we need to change our roof and I just lost my job. That's the actual pain point. So what? Right? Make sense? Okay, moving on. Technical. For scheduling, you can schedule your Instagram. Like I said, you can do it every day or you can schedule ahead of time. If you're scheduling ahead of time, these are 2 of the most common platforms people use, Planoly or Later. So you can look those up. You can see There are free versions as well as paid. If you have paid versions, it gives a little bit more functionality. Some of these, I know Later does not allow you to upload and pre-plan a video. It only allows you to pre-plan pictures. But if you know what day it is, you can just go on and upload the video ahead of time. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Images. Okay, so we're going to get into some of the technical now. So please ask questions as we go along. So with images, we can either have solo images, right? You can have a picture of you can have a quote, or you can have the swipe, also known as a carousel image. Again, look at your insights to see what is best on your account. The aesthetics of your account aren't as important anymore as they used to be. You know, before you used to have all the really nice like quote, quote, picture, picture, quote, video, like it was all organized. It's not as important anymore because video is so prominent. Video looks a little bit more messy, especially with words and titles. So it doesn't have the same feel like it used to, but that's okay. The content is the most important. My favorite app for, and this is on desktop and app for actually doing and making my images pretty, is through Canva. Okay. If you want professional looking photos, you can get free stock photos on Unsplash and Pexels. So if you don't want a picture of you, but you still want a pretty picture of, you know, a woman holding a coffee cup or someone on vacation on a boat, whatever, you can get a free photo on either of those stock sites. Now, I'm going to grab your phone for a second. And I want you to pretend that you're uploading a photo to your feed. Something that's really important that people don't do enough. Number one, I want you to consider professional photos. When I do, this is where someone who's watching right now, actually a really good tip is she gets professional photos done monthly, an hour session every month. And that way she has continuous supply of photos. What I do is I usually do professional photos twice a year. I do a 4 to 5 hour session and I do 6 outfits so that I have all of those and I just keep coming back to it. Something to consider obviously is seasons, so that you're not necessarily posting fall photos in the middle of summer, right? So try to take photos where the season isn't prevalent and your clothes can go either way. And or, you know, suck it up a little bit and wear something that might be a little bit more appropriate for warmer weather, even though it's a little bit colder now that we're moving into the fall. So something to consider is brightness. People and our eyes like brighter photos. If anything, and you upload a photo, does everybody know how to edit the photo in Instagram? So I'm going to quickly do a little tutorial with that. So you're going to pretend you're uploading a photo to your actual feed. You're going to upload it and you're going to say next. Now, at the bottom, you're going to see filter and edit. I need you to click the edit box. That's going to give you custom options. You're going to see there adjust brightness, contrast, structure, warmth, saturation, color fade, yada, yada, yada. I want you to pay attention to brightness, contrast, warmth. Our eye also tends to like more blue tones than yellow tones. So in warmth, you can make it a little bit more blue than yellow. Saturation will make the color brighter. And then highlights and shadows. Again, you really want to make sure your pictures are brighter. They're more appealing. They stand out on a feed and they just look better. Some people do buy filters. I have a lot of clients that do buy filters and really like them. So you can look up some really popular filters and or find a filter that you might like, and you can kind of play around with that and see what makes sense for you and your brand. Just making sure that you're consistent, right? I'm sure you've seen ads for filters on Facebook and on Instagram. So it's just picking out which filters are best for you. What I might do actually is start a poll after this. If anybody uses any filters and wants to comment below, feel free to share what filters you use in the chat box. But I'm gonna do a poll after this so that we can get some more input on what some filters people use. I like to personally customize it on my own without using a filter, but everybody's different. Okay, so common mistakes that people make within their images. They're not professional, brightness, branding. I want you to make sure that your photos are in alignment with your brand. 3 questions I want you to ask people. I want you to walk away, ask 10 people these 3 questions. What do you think my brand is? What do you think my superpower is? And what do people not know about me? Those 3 questions, the answers to those 3 questions are going to tell you what you're actually putting out there. What do people think your brand is? What do people think your brand should be? And what are you not saying enough? This will help you to customize your content and also see if your branding's in alignment. One thing that I do see sometimes, and I think we need to talk about this, we're all women on here. Sometimes I have seen women be overly sexual in their pictures and it may not correlate to their brand. So pay attention to, is that your brand or not? Sometimes it is, and that's awesome. There's a ton of models that have really sexy photos and that's their brand. But just pay attention to serious smiles. You know, if you're wanting to build a more professional page, smile as much as possible. It makes you look more warm and happy, and people are more attracted to you. It's super simple, but it's really important to really look at your feed and think, what would people think of me when looking at my feed? Who do they think I am? And make sure that your actual personality is still coming through. The really good thing about Reels is that it allows us to use more personality. And so I can't wait to get to that part. So then your face, make sure you show your face in all of your social media platforms, and you're beautiful and people want to see you. And then just following the 4 content steps that I gave you for the impact formula. Okay, so we're going to go to video. Here's where some people get confused now because there's so many options. If you're a beginner, this is for you. You can post a video to your feed. It's usually under 1 minute. It has to be under 1 minute or it won't post to your feed. If it's over 1 minute, it actually posts through IGTV and you can select to post on your feed. Therefore, you need to download IGTV. Your stories are going to be in 15-second intervals. And right now, because they've changed it in the past, so maybe they'll change it in the future, you can only film simultaneously 4 15-second intervals in your stories. I'm going to show you a couple hacks to that. And then your reel is 15 seconds. And we're going to talk about all of these elements. So, video editing. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Here's actually my favorite video editing. I use InShot. I also use iMovie if I need to adjust a longer video. So for example, if I need to change anything that I'm doing here, I'll use iMovie because I have an Apple. But InShot is an amazing, super easy app. So download that, and then we're going to do a little example, and we're going to play around with it later in the presentation. And again, within InShot, you can change the brightness. If you look at my Instagram in particular, that's how I get the white bars on the top and the bottom and put titles on my videos. The really good things about titles is right now you have to keep in mind that people are not necessarily watching your stuff with the volume on. So titles are really great on video. So are captions, which I'll go into, but titles are really great so people can see, oh, yep, this is for me. So if you're going to do nothing and you're going to not do captions, that's okay. Just do your titles at least so people know what they're watching, and you can do that in InShot. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I'm just going back to the previous slide. This is where it gets a little confusing, okay? Each one of these are a slightly different dimension. Instagram kind of screws us here, okay? Now, here's where you're going to notice it. Your feed is more of a square, and you'll see that in InShot when we do our example. Your IGTV, your stories and reels are longer. Where you will see this be a problem is when you format your video to IGTV or reels or stories and you post it to your feed will crop it. So pay attention, and you'll start to notice this now, where your title is and or where your captions are, to make sure they're still in the actual feed dimensions. I've made this mistake before. I still make this mistake sometimes when I'm posting quickly, but it's something to consider. Okay, so now we also see captions and subtitles becoming really popular, especially because, like I just said, people aren't watching things with the volume. There's a few ways you can do this. On the web, you can upload a video automatically to YouTube. When you upload it to YouTube, you can put your captions on and it'll automatically create captions. You can then take out these captions and put them into a software, whether it be Adobe or iMovie, and then you'll have all your captions that you can put into your video. So that's if you want to be more hands-on. It's a little bit more complicated, but I want you to know that it's out there. If you wanted to fake it, I mean, maybe you upload it to YouTube and then screen record while it's going with the captions and then upload it. I don't know what the quality to that would be because I haven't tried it, but I want to make it as easy for you as possible. If you want to pay for your subtitles and captions, whether you're doing something a little bit more sophisticated. So for example, I'm putting together a course right now. I'm using Subtitle for my captions. You can use Rev or Subtitle. They're both paid, but they are a little bit more professional, and then they send it back to you with captions on your video. So if you're doing something for your website or something like that, it may be worth investing a little bit extra in the subtitles. If you want to use some apps that are free, you can use Clips, which is only on iPhone, iOS, which is actually from iPhone. It's automatically on your phone. This you have to record within the Clips platform. You can't upload. So one thing that you want to pay attention is, can I upload a pre-existing video or do I have to film it in the actual app? Clips, you have to film in the app. AutoCap and Clipchamp, you do not. You can upload a video in there. The really cool thing about AutoCap is you can also change the language. So if you have clients in different areas of the world, you can send them videos that are specific to their language. So that's really beautiful. Another thing to consider with captions and subtitles is you can also serve audio, no, I don't think this is the right way to say it, but in people who are hearing impaired, it's easier for them if there's captions as well. Okay. Common mistakes with videos. Now, I still make this mistake when I'm posting, so I mean, we have to just laugh about it. A still feed photo. What this means is when we're posting a video, we have the option to put a custom photo that will show up on our feed. If we don't add the custom photo and or select what part of the video we want as the feed picture, it looks a little wonky. It's happened to me. And the problem is right now on Reels and video, you can't change it. If you forget to post and choose a photo of what's going to show up on your reel or on your feed, you actually have to delete the entire video to select what picture comes up. So even if you go on my feed right now, it's pretty obvious which ones I forgot, but I really don't care. But it's something to consider and something I really do try to do all the time, but sometimes I forget. And then if I already have comments and I already have a bunch of views, I just don't even bother deleting it. I mean, we have to have a little bit of a sense of humor when it comes to social at some point, whatever. Common mistakes, again, titles or captions, which I already said, how the dimensions are shorter on your feed. So you'll notice in the, and you can even see right now, this was my last reel, okay? Do you see those, the words? This right now is in my feed, but when I watch it on Reels, it completely changes the dimension. Did you see that? So you just want to be cognizant that it's still in the dimension of the feed. Make sense? Okay, cool. Okay, this is really fun. Things in the background. I put this on common mistakes kind of as a reverse mistake. It is awesome to have things in the background. If you can be walking or have a dog in the background, anything of interest that people can look at, you actually get more views on a video than if I'm sitting in front of my couch like this. So don't feel embarrassed that you have to be in this perfect scene. Be at the park, walk down the street. I actually encourage you all this week to try to film a story or a video while walking down the street or being around people. You'll get more views and people will watch longer because they want to know, where is she? What's she doing? So it's really funny, but I mean, even when I go to the farm, if you saw on my Instagram this weekend, I was at the farm, you know, I tried to get the dogs in the picture to see what they're doing so that it makes things more interesting. As well, if you are in interesting places, film as many videos as possible. Even if you don't have anything to say, the really good thing about Reels is you can just film a little dance or whatever, and then you can put words on it later. You don't even have to know what you're going to say. When I was at the farm this weekend, I filmed 2 reels and I have no idea what I want to say. I just picked a song that I like and I just did a little, you know, move around, make things look pretty, and I'm going to use it probably within the next 2 weeks. So try to collect as many photos and videos as possible when you're in an interesting place. Okay, moving on. Our stories. So within our stories, here are some tips. Again, you can do a still picture or video. If you're using your stories for business, I highly recommend showing your face every single day on your stories. Follow the 4 steps that I gave you, the 4 steps for engagement, and you'll notice that you're going to have 15-second intervals. You're going to see the countdown. So one thing that saves me every time in my story, so I'm going to pull up my stories right now, is the hands-free mode. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this down arrow and you're going to go hands-free. If you click hands-free, it'll just go without you having to hold it. And then just pay attention to the 4 15-second intervals. If I notice I'm going to need an extra 15 seconds, then I will let it go and I'll film the last 1 or 2, because you can see I have 4 to 6 slides. I'll usually film those separately. There's 2 ways you can do that. Number 1 is you can post the 4 and then you can film the last 2 and then post the last 2. Or when you film it, so you can see here I have 2 15-second intervals. On the top, there's a down arrow. You can save the video. So you can save all the videos within your story and then post them all individually. So those are the 2 ways to do it while filming in the stories, okay? If you do not want to film in stories and you want to upload your own video, you can do that too. It'll splice it into 15-second intervals. However, if it's longer than the 4 slides, you can use either of these 2 apps, Split Story or Long Story Split, and it'll automatically split your video into 15-second intervals for your story. A couple things to consider as well here, and I'm going to say it over and over again. Make sure that you have a title, or you can see here, or captions, or even add a sentence, a summary sentence of what you're talking about in that story. So many people, like I said again, do not listen with video, but they'll say, oh, you know, Amy's talking about 4 steps to anxiety. I need to turn that on. So you want to be able to tell them what you're talking about so you can give more engagement. Also use your polls and your voting in your stories. This makes it really great to poll people. You know, have you, I don't know, what can you, like, does anybody else love Swell water bottles? You can add whatever poll you want within your stories. Use that to your advantage for your own knowledge about your clients. So if we're going back to the 4 steps, the what are you going to tell them, why it matters to them, that second piece is a really good time to ask a poll, right? Because if you're asking them, you know, I'm going to give you 2 steps to help with your anxiety. Are you currently suffering from anxiety? You can add a poll, and it makes it really great and is immediate feedback to see if the content you're giving is actually beneficial or not to your audience. Okay, so then here are some really great, did I go? There we go. Here are some really great apps to help you with your visuals on your stories if you want to make them look more pretty. Canva, Unfold, Mojo, or StoryArt are some of my favorites and some of the ones my clients use. Again, Canva, do you notice how I really only use the same thing? I mostly use Canva. Unfold and Mojo are really good. StoryArt, some of my clients use and really like that. So you can make it kind of look pretty. Something to consider as well, which we haven't talked a lot about because this goes more into branding, is pick a few colors that you want your brand to be and just stay consistent when you're working with your stories and your feed so that it just looks a little bit more, flowing. Also note that it's okay to change your colors. Right now, I'm kind of in the process of changing my personal branding colors. So my colors are a little bit all over the place because I'm trying to see how they look and what looks best. But just know you want to pick a few colors and go on from there. If you want to, did you know that if you want to, I'm going to just pull up my stories 1 second. So if you want to just do a photo. So if you take a photo on your stories, oh, wrong, not how to take a photo. If you take a photo of your stories, there's a photo, and you take the little like paintbrush thing, you pick a color and you hold it, it'll change it to that color. Did you see that? So if you want to just have a specific color and then do text over it to make it really easy, you can make sure that you're keeping consistent colors. You can also, if you pull up a photo that you've taken, so here's a photo I took today of the fall, you can find the color in that picture by, oh, no, undo. No, let's try again, undo. You're gonna go, done. Okay. There we go. Okay. So you're gonna have your photo up there. You're gonna see the bottom. You can see all those colors. If you hold the bottom, do you see how you can really pick any color? You can also take this little dropper and bring him into the photo so you can use that color. Did you see that? And then you can use that color for text or to change the color of your actual photo. So you can really customize the colors that you're using. Okay. We're almost done. So we're going into reels. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of time for people who want to do a little practice with reels. We'll do that right at the end so that if you don't want to stay on, you don't have to stay on. That's totally cool. So with our reels, reels are 15 seconds. You can show tons of personality. A really great way to use reels is by giving tips. You'll start to see how people are using reels now. I actually have a notepad in my camera, or in my phone that says reel ideas, because I'll see someone do it and I'm like, oh, that was really good. I love how they did myths and truths, or tips about this, or, you know, even fashion, like here's what I wear around the house, whatever. See how other people are using reels and start to make notes. I usually make it for tips and or suggestions, because that's just my style, but see what your style is and how you want to use your tips. The really good thing about reels is you will notice right now, because of the algorithms in Instagram, how much larger your views will be on reels. If you compare reels to stories, you're going to get 10 times the amount of views on reels than in your stories right now. So it's pretty huge, just because Instagram's wanting to share reels and you just get a lot more views. So it's pushing it to more people than your story or your feed, which is why so many people are using reels now. So you can do your reels pre-recorded or live. You can do it all in one piece, or you can do it in sections. So I'm going to show you how in our mini tutorial at the end of this training. Okay, so here's the common question of how do I grow my email or my Instagram followers? The first comment here obviously is to emphasize emails. I really want you, I don't care if you have 1 follower, 2 followers, you want their email address. And the second thing is, I want you to show up the same way you'd show up for 5 followers as you would for 5,000, as you would for 500,000. It's the same thing. You are talking to one person on the other side of this phone. They don't know how many people are following you or watching your story or watching your feed. So always remember you're talking to one person. This is also a really great tip within your content and within your videos, is talk to one person. Don't say, hey guys, how are you today? Say, hey girl, hey you, I see you. You're talking to one person, right? Make it very personal, because you're getting them on the most personal device they have, their phone, which is also a little nod to why texting communities are really going to be the next best thing. If you're not ready for a texting community, it's okay. I would recommend getting on the wait list of community, because you need to be interviewed and you need to get on the wait list. So I got on the wait list a long time ago, and now I'm just holding my spot. So I know that I can get a spot when I want to. So I'll probably roll that out in the next few months, and we can have a specific talk on texting communities a little bit later. So a couple other ways to boost engagement. Instagram pods have worked really well for me. What that means is find a few people that have, I'd recommend 5,000 followers or more, and start an Instagram pod. What that means is you'll create a group chat, and every time someone posts, you're going to let each other know so that you can comment on each other's stories or posts. What this does is it helps beat the algorithms. It also shows that there's more engagement within your actual account. And it also helps people that are a little bit shy, right? If people are eating at the restaurant, it seems like it's more popular. So you can all support each other. One note, if you're going to do an Instagram pod, do not share your post into the pod, because Instagram is starting to kind of figure that out. So just write in the pod new, or write in the pod what your new post was about, so people know to go to your account. Does that make sense? Okay. Comments, likes, it really helps to comment and like other people's content. So if you go through the feature page on Instagram, or you search specific hashtags or other people's Facebook, or sorry, not Facebook, if you search other people's Instagram accounts, you can find like-minded members and like-minded followers and comment and like their stuff, and you'll usually get follow back. This works very well to boost engagement and send love to other people. So one thing I haven't talked too much about is hashtags. The hashtags are cool, actually, more so in my opinion, more so in your stories. So make sure to feature any hashtags in your stories, locations, because people in those locations can reshare it. Your stories have really high odds of being shared, especially even if you're tagging a celebrity. So one comment about that within your stories, you want reshare, obviously. If you can do a video, if you go to a workshop, a seminar, or you just read someone's book, get on your phone and do a video share about it. So whether you just read Gabby Bernstein's book or you just listened to someone on Joe Rogan's podcast, this is what happened to me. I listened to someone on Joe Rogan's podcast, David Cho. He was so cute. And I think his last name was Cho. I might have messed that up now. But anyways, what the purpose of the story is, I got on my phone and just said, hey, just watch this podcast, David. I love you. Love how authentic you were, like keeping you. I'm so proud of you and your journey. And he reshared it. People prefer video content to reshare than just like, oh, I'm reading this book. People won't share that as often as actually having a picture. Same thing if you're following a fitness expert on Instagram and you just did their workout. Do a quick little video like, I love Kathy's fitness videos. They're super awesome, and get them to share it. If you are in fitness, if you have things to share, start encouraging your community to post videos when they're doing your workouts, when they're reading your books, when they're doing your course. Then you can continuously share this content, and then people want to get featured in your Instagram. I got a bunch of followers. Every time I share something of someone who has a lot of followers, I'll at least get 5 to 10 new followers that I didn't have before. So really important. Another great way to continue your growth is obviously your content. Oh, made a mistake. Call to action and engagement, collabs and giveaways and contests. So a couple things in here. If you can do collaborations, get people to share your things. This kind of leads to or comments on what I was just saying, of also talking about other people's things. The more you can collaborate, you talk, they share, then it'll also bring more people to your Instagram. Another way to do this is through interviews, through podcasts, through blogs, through giveaways, and or webinars. So the more you can collaborate with people who also will share your content, it'll help you grow. Giveaways and contests also work very well. So I'm actually going to start doing more giveaways. Every week I want to do a giveaway. And the best way to do the giveaway is make sure that you get them to follow you within the giveaway and tag 1 to 3, maybe even if you can, 5 of their friends in the comments. That way they're bringing people to your page that wouldn't have been there already. Okay. All right, so moving on to the next, shareable content. We're going into paid and ads here. Okay, what the first paid is a couple of things. There's a lot of people on Instagram right now who are asking for you to pay to be in an article or even pay to be in a giveaway. So one of my mentors paid $10,000 to be in one of Dan Balzerian's giveaways. So I think they gave away, don't quote me, I think they gave away 10 different prizes of $1,000 to everyone who followed. I think there were about 10 people. He was one of those 10. He got 70,000 followers for that. Here's where you actually have to do the math. is it worth spending $10,000 for 70,000 followers that could convert into sales? So you at this point have to know, before you pay for anything, I want you to know very clearly, what am I selling them? What are my conversion rates? And am I getting the people that are direct leads to whatever I have to offer them? It's super important. This leads into this paid ads. I put it at the bottom for a reason. I do not personally recommend paid ads until you actually have a funnel and you're sending people somewhere. It's no use to have paid ads if they get to your account and they don't stick around. You want them to stick around, and we could do an entire training on this, because you actually want to do the paid ad where you can capture their email and send them to a freebie or an opt-in or a webinar. And so I just want you to be very cautious when paying for things. It can work really well. I'm moving into more paid stuff. All of my mentors spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on paid things, but they have the funnel and the offers to really direct people to those locations. Okay, we are almost done here. Okay, that's it. Have fun. Okay, we're gonna do some quick tech stuff and open up for Q&A. I'm officially done this little presentation. So I'm gonna stop sharing and we're gonna open up for Q&A. So ladies, do you have questions? I know I always give so much information on these trainings and talk really quick. So any questions on what I discussed before we go into a quick live training on the reels, and we're just going to play around? Any questions? If not, I'm moving right in. And we can also do InShot if you ladies want to see that as well. So, okay, we're going to start with reels. If you have to go, that is cool. You can always check the recording after. So let's go into reels. So I'm in my thing right now. You can see, look, you can kind of, you get the, this is what I do when I'm recording. I have all of my lights. Okay, so we're going to move to reels at the bottom here. Reels is actually really simple. It just looks more complicated. So a couple things that I've noticed. Okay, so then you're going to pick a song. Pick a song that you like and that's going to make you happy. Now, I'm going to give you random tips, okay? If you're anything like me, I do not like to listen to the song before I film my reel. The reason being is I really want it to be live. I want people to see my actual reaction to the song that I love. The only thing you might need to pay attention to is sometimes the actual part of the song that is automatically, okay, so for example, the first one coming up for me is Kygo, because I'm obsessed. And you'll see here at the bottom, it automatically chooses, let me see, it automatically chooses a part of the song that it will record in. You can change that part of the song by just sliding the bar either way. So pick whatever part of the song you want to be jamming out to. Okay? I just turned the volume off so that you could hear me. Okay. So we're going to move now to the next part. The next button is, it looks like a play button. What that does is it actually speeds up or slows you down. So when you are filming it, this music will be moving either slower or faster, and then it'll automatically put it to the music to a normal speed. So that's when you might see the person look like they're moving faster or slower. That's just based on these speeds that they've chosen. And so that's where you can play around with it a little bit and see which one you like best. I have done that sometimes, just for a change of pace. Okay, then the next one is your effects. So there's where you can pick, there's where you can pick your filters or whatever you want on there. I really like, I guess, the more natural filter, if you could choose a natural filter, but that's how you choose a filter. And now I'm selecting one because I want to show you something. Sometimes when you select them and then go on to the next one, it may turn off. So you want to make sure that they're all turned on. So this is really important and makes things a lot easier. So what I just did was I just clicked on this little timer button down there. There we go. What this does, you can see I can set the timer. So by changing the end of this, when I put set timer, it'll either do the full 15 seconds automatic or it will automatically splice it for you. So if I choose the timer to be the full 15 seconds, when I press record, I just have to press record and it'll film my 15 seconds. If I only do it to here halfway, it'll actually stop recording at the end of this timer. So if you want to do it so that you have a bunch of different pieces of video all put together, this is an easy way to do that. Now, this is for if you're filming it within your app. If you're uploading video, which you can do, you can upload video into this as well, and you don't need to set the timer. This is only if you're recording it in the app. So then you press set timer. Now you'll see here that both of these are lit up because I chose the filter and I chose the timer. If you chose both of them, just make sure they're both lit up. Sometimes if, let's say, for example, I now click on this again and I choose that, oh, let me see. It might turn off, okay? So here's what I just did too. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna now play around so that you saw what I just did. So I'm gonna set the timer for 4 seconds. And I'm gonna press now. So these are both lit up. I'm gonna press record. Do you see how it goes 3, 2, 1? Because I've picked the timer. This is now gonna film it. And then see how it automatically stopped? Because we already did. So you can see, do you see along the top? It shows you a progress bar. So we've now filmed 4 seconds of the 15 seconds. Now, there's this funny little, there's one extra icon that's gonna pop up after you've started. This is what the icon is it's actually really clever, is that it will show you where you were positioned in the video before. So I'm gonna redo this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna film myself for a couple seconds, because then you'll see here, okay, do you see that there's like a lighter picture of me underneath? So what I'm asked, do you see how there's like a picture of me there? Because I've clicked, so watch when I click this button, it goes away and then it comes back. That's to make sure that I'm standing in the same place that my last video was just recording. Right? So it's actually really clever, because then you can make it a lot easier, and it makes it more gradual. Okay, so then I can film again and I'm in the same spot and it doesn't look weird. So, and you can keep doing that and film little spots, or you can pull up a video that you just recorded in the bottom left-hand corner, and here's all the videos that I have. Well, there's one from today, Penelope. So here's one that we just did. Now you'll notice here, because we don't have the full 15 seconds left, it wants to automatically trim the video that's going to be remaining on the 15 seconds. We can change this by putting it wherever we want. We can make it as long or as short as we want, and then we just click the check mark and it adds it to the 15-second reel that we're creating right now. Is this making sense? Or have I lost anyone? Renee, did I lose you? A little bit? Where did I lose you? Oh, you're muted.
I don't know. I'm trying to absorb it all.
That's okay. You can watch it back and play around. If you have any trouble, just message me.
Okay.
And then you can kind of play around with those 15-second intervals. So really, now I'm going to put up the volume. Once you've decided that you're done, it'll show you. So this is what we created. Okay, that's the video we created right now. You can see, so they actually changed this. So originally when they came out with Reels, you couldn't hear your voice over the music. Now you can. So if you don't want to have your voice over the music, just don't talk, or mute the video before you put it up. Now, here's something that's really, really important from a tech perspective, is when you think the video's good, just save it with that down arrow, okay? When it saves onto your phone, it's gonna save without audio. I don't care because I want it. I have not saved it, and then Instagram glitches and I lose the whole video. So just save the video whenever you can. Now if I'm happy with this, yep, I'm happy with this, I wanna post it. So I'm gonna click the arrow. So you can see here, you can share, or underneath it says save as draft. I'll show you where to find those drafts after. So you can save the draft. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Here's where you can change the cover that's gonna show up on your feed. By clicking the cover, did you see where I clicked that? On the picture, you're gonna click cover. And now you can choose what cover you want so it doesn't look completely out of place. Okay, one thing we didn't do was the text. So I'm gonna quickly show you that. If you wanna go backwards, you just go back with the arrow. You use the text, same as stories. Now here's where people get a little glitchy. So I'm gonna put testing, testing. Two things to consider when you add text. Number one, remember that the actual feed is smaller. Don't put the text way up here, no one will see it. Try to put the text within the center. You can change the text just like in your stories and add color or change the actual font. Okay, so we can change the font. Now, here's what people forget to do, and then it messes up. On the bottom, do you see how it says testing? And now you can move this. When you move this, that's how long the actual text is gonna appear on the video. So if you want testing to be on the full 15 seconds, great, just leave it like that. If you only want testing to be on the first couple seconds, leave it there, and then do you see it leaves? Right now you can see it a little bit because it holds it there, so it'll show you where the other text was. Now, if I want to put another text, I just click test, and then I put testing 2. Now, whatever one is highlighted is the one that the bar is associated to. So if testing 2, I want testing 2 to start when the first testing finished. So I'm going to slide it there. And then I'm going to slide this, let's say, to there. Are you seeing that? Okay. If I want to put more text, we'll go testing 3, and this will be our last one. And then we're going to move testing 3 till after the testing 2. Now, sometimes Instagram still glitches and it doesn't always show. So I'm just going to test. Yep, finished. That one went, and that one went. Do you see? Okay, cool. That's text. Okay, that's Instagram Reels. How does that feel? Does it feel like a lot? If it's a lot, don't do text and just do visual. And then for now, and then it's only 15 seconds, do visual, and then put something in your caption. If you don't want to do text, you can do something a little bit more physical. I just did one the other day of, here are things I do in my morning routine, show your water bottle, show whatever your journal. You can actually show the items if you don't want to add text right now. but the text does make it a little bit easier when people are watching it, because a lot of people don't read the comments or the content in the reel because it looks kind of funny. And it's more like the TikTok. Obviously, they're competing with TikTok. So the actual content is harder to read in the reel. Most people just watch the video. But for 10 times the views, yeah. Are you good?
I have a question.
Yes, question.
Well, I'm seeing people using Reels, but they seem to be using it as more like just a video. So they're not doing the music, they're not doing like the captions or anything, but I see it says Reels, and they seem to be using it just without the music and just as a platform to talk. So is there...
And that's because of the viewers, just because you're getting more viewers now. The only thing is just to keep in mind, it's only 15 seconds.
It's only 15 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do that, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 15 seconds is really short.
It's hard. If 15 seconds is really short, unless you're giving like one tip or, you know, really just one little value.
Okay.
Yeah, which is why the text, you can give a little bit more content in 15 seconds. But I'm actually amazed at how quickly 15 seconds you can give a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, so I mean, pick songs you like. Use your Shazam to, when you hear a song that you think will be fun, and really make sure that your songs are associated with your brand as well. Right? Make sure everything's connected. So it's a whole experience. What's the experience when people come to your page? Are they experiencing, you know, are they being uplifted? Are they being calmed? Are they being amped up? And just make sure that you use all of your content so that it's consistent across the board. Cool. Okay. If anybody else, do you want to quickly, I'm going to just quickly show you InShot so that you don't miss it. And I love it. When you go into InShot, you get to choose a video or a photo. You can also edit your photos in here too. I do that. Let's go video. I'm going to go, oh, look at that. I did so what I actually did, so this is really good too for repurposing. When you're done your IG reel, save it, and then you can upload it to TikTok. So you don't have to do two. I personally find IG easier to use than TikTok. So, which is why I build it in IG, I'll save it, and then I can move it over to TikTok. My TikTok is basically non-existent, but I tried with this one video. So what you can do, you can see here, I uploaded the video from Instagram into InShot. And then what I needed to do was change the dimension. So you'll see here, you have all your options. If you click the first one, you can choose your different dimensions, and it's beautiful. It'll change it to whatever you need it for. Okay, and then here's where you can change the background. So you can change the background so that it's white. And you can see, I'll show you on another video. 1 second. Here's another video that I created. And you can see the white bars on the top and bottom with the title. I wish that it was a little bit easier to see. There you go. Okay. And then I did that by choosing, obviously, I used the 5x5 option. And then I put the background as white. And then I just added text. And you can see that here. You can add text. I also love on InShot that you can add music. So they have pre-recorded music that you can upload and find in here as well. So play around with that. I personally love Canva and InShot. I find them super easy, but you know, pick whatever you like better and see what works for you. Any other questions? Because I know it is, we're about an hour and a half here.
So InShot and Canva are the two apps for the video editing?
So Canva is for photos and visuals, and then the video editing is for InShot. Yeah. But InShot will not give you subtitles and captions. You will have to use Clipchamp, or what's the other one I have on here? Let me see. It was on my thing. Video. AutoCap for actual captions.
So we would have to use both apps, so like the video editing app and the cam or auto.
Yes,
to
exactly. And then the subtitles are AutoCap.
And for the Instagram Reels, is that prior to doing like when like example doing a video on your phone and then uploading it on Instagram, or is that while live on Instagram?
So you can do both. You can film the reel in your Instagram app and then post it. It's not technically live. You still have to choose to post it. It's like when you're doing a story, you still have to choose to post it. Or you can use a pre-recorded video and post that.
And which one did you use, like for like the 15 seconds, like how long where the text will be? Is that InShot?
Are you referring to the story or the reels?
The Reels.
So the reels, I just do in reels in Instagram, and it'll automatically cut the 15 seconds.
And how do we add the text? Is that InShot or is that through Instagram?
That it depends on what you're doing. So in InShot, I add text for my videos, but when I just showed you the reels and adding text, that was all through Instagram reels. The only part that was InShot was just this last part that I showed you for the borders on the top and bottom. Does that make sense?
Yes. Is it the same for stories?
Which part being the same?
For the video 15-second and editing?
It is, yeah. So you can either edit your video within Instagram, or you can edit your videos you can do the clips if you need to split it into 15 seconds.
And where do we add music? For example, music is playing, and is that through Shazam that I upload, or?
Are you referring to reels or stories?
Reels.
You can do it right in there. So if did you see the demo that I just did for reels?
Yep.
Okay, great. So if you can also watch this back, but in reels, the music was just the first option right up here. And then you can choose whatever song you want.
Is that through the Instagram music?
Yes, exactly.
And stories wouldn't have it, no?
Well, so stories, you can add music. So I'm just going to quickly, by clicking, if on the top, this happy face, you can go to music in this happy face, and you can click a song in there as well.
Those are songs through Instagram.
Exactly, yes.
And while we're talking in the video, it will still be clear, like you can hear the music and the talking?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to play around with that to see how loud the video is and to see if it still records your video or your voice, sorry, because Reels never used to, but now because of what we just did, you can hear both the music and your voice. You're gonna have to try it out on stories to see if you can hear your music and your voice. I'm not 100% sure. I think you cannot, but again, that they might change that.
And like the videos that we do through the editing and InShot or on Reels Instagram,
yes.
Can we share them on Facebook?
You totally can, yeah. So you can share them to your Facebook stories if you have that linked. And if you don't, just make sure you save it onto your phone, and then you can upload them from your phone.
And then does it have to be stories, or can it be just a posting upload on?
You can do that too. So if you wanted to share that on Facebook, you can actually copy and paste the link from that photo or video on your feed, and then you can share it. So how you do that is you just go to, if you're on your feed, you can actually click these 3 buttons on the top, and you can say copy link. I don't know if you can see that, copy link. And then you can send someone that link or post that link on Facebook. Good question.
And like I know like they're working on like Instagram followers and people increasing like their audience.
Yeah.
But I don't hear much on that, like increasing your audience on Facebook.
Yeah, I think because they're trying to keep Facebook more of friends, but
Mhm.
I did do a networking workshop and of how to increase your friends on Facebook. So I can send that to you if you send me a DM after. But in short, you can network and expand your Facebook through Facebook groups, discussions, polls, and even by, if you like people's photos, when they show up as so-and-so might be your friend, you have 20 friends in common or 50 friends in common. Feel free to message those people and see if you connect with them, and you can always make friends virtually, and then you can kind of take it from there.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, because it's been I'm thinking about that as well, like networking individually, and I hear on Instagram they have it. The increasing your audience is just basic stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let me know. Send me a DM, and or if you're in the membership, you can check out all the networking videos and go from there. Cool. Any other questions? Okay. Those are great questions. Thanks so much, Christina. Okay, so that is it. Thank you, ladies, so much. Feel free to text me on Facebook or Instagram if you have any other questions. And then this is going to be posted into our member database. You're going to get an email if you're on live right now where to access that. But I will be in touch, and that will be posted probably tomorrow. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much, ladies, for being here. And so proud of you and really putting yourself out there, because it can be really scary using your voice and putting your message out there for other people. So sending you so much love. We'll see you later. Bye, ladies.